Hey my friend, just a quick video to discuss perhaps the best bit of advice that you could have when you're in the darkest depths of the dark night of the soul. I know that a lot of you are currently going through it at the moment and currently perhaps feeling desperate, almost in despair and not knowing where the exit point is. And I get that. So I just want to share today, very quickly, the best tip. Bear in mind, I've been through the worst of the dark night of the soul. I know what it's like to be totally in the trenches and not be able to see over the top of it. And even sometimes we feel like we can see over the top of it, only to be buried back down by the darkness and the sadness that we go through in the dark night of the soul. What I want to talk about today is just, I hope it gives a little glimmer of hope, because I know where this is going for you. Deep down intuitively, you know where this is going for you too. You know that you're not going to be spending years in this pain. You might, but it's very likely that if you've got an inkling or an urge that you want to change the pain within you, that you'll attract a circumstance into your life where you'll be able to change the pain, either through a teacher who can teach you the right sadhana, or I'll be cheeky, the Awakening Accelerator course down below, because that was the stuff, that was the sadhana that worked for me, got me out very quickly. But really what I'm here to talk about is, if you've got the right practices and your regimen on those practices, and you do them daily, and you know that you're leaving the dark night of the soul, or you know that there is an end point for it, then hear this out. When it's dark and it's at its darkest, we can almost project our consciousness into the future and draw upon what the feeling will be like in the future when we're free of the dark night of the soul. We could call this timeline jumping, quantum leaping, becoming a time traveller. We could call it all of these things, but we could just be really practical and really honest about it. When you know, think about the past. Say you've been through a depression before and it was horrible, right? Or say you've been anxious before and it was horrible. You know that while you're in the anxious and the darkness of it, somebody saying, oh, it will pass, don't worry, this time will pass, isn't very helpful, because you're in the deep dark depths of it. You're like, well, it's not for me, nothing's changing, it's horrible. And I get that. But bear in mind that when you were in depression before, it ended, right? And then you forgot all about it. Now, of course, this depression you won't necessarily forget all about, because it really does change you. You'll be thankful for it one day, trust me. But bear in mind that you're so young, spiritually, let's say, perhaps bodily if you're like me, my age, you're so young. You have your whole life ahead of you. Even though it's painful, maybe just stop and have a look around. Take a look at the view. Because then there's almost like a sweetness to it, isn't there? Like, we know this is temporary. We know that life itself is fleeting, it's temporary. So stop. Stop worrying. Take a look around at the view. Because one day, we won't be here to enjoy the view anymore. So even though it's painful, notice that whilst it feels painful right now, the pain is only there as a reflection to remind you that all of this is fleeting. It will pass. So if you can, draw on your knowledge of the future. You know you'll be out of the pain at some point. And perhaps put yourself in the future and have a look back at the dark night of the soul from that perspective. And see it from a positive light. There's a sweetness in that. You're not going to be in it forever. Project into the future if you have to. Turn back and look at the dark night of the soul for what it is, a life upgrader. Although it may not feel like it right now, because your life might be slipping down a slope. Although even that is just your projections. Whilst it looks on the external world like your life is nosediving, it's actually just changing. It's just change. And it might seem scary, oh, I feel totally disconnected from life. Oh, what if life doesn't support me? Well, then take responsibility for life. Oh, well, what if I take responsibility for life and it still doesn't support me? Trust me, it will. Of course, if you wish, down below there's a free guided meditation / breathing practice that you're more than welcome to indulge in. It's nice, it will make you feel good. It will oxygenate your body, energize your system, relax you. It'll stoke up an inner feeling of bliss. It's really the oxygen going through your body. But that'll bring a larger awareness in which you can see from a detached, more relaxed state what your limiting beliefs are that are holding you into the dark night of the soul. Remember, the dark night of the soul is just beliefs. Beliefs that you believe in that are negative senses of self that bring pain into your body, so that you get to have a look at what that belief is and decide whether you prefer it to be there or not. And of course, because it's causing you pain, it's likely that you won't want to keep it. So by noticing it, then the clock's ticking on that, just by witnessing the belief, knowing the belief. And then of course you can ask yourself, as I always say, how would I feel if this belief wasn't in me? And then, what can touch you then, eh? Thanks for watching the video. Peace.